Hello, everyone. Um, Today's topic is all to do with believing that you are to blame for how others react or treat you. Is that something that you find yourself doing? If there's a difficulty in a relationship or something goes awry at work in a project, do you find yourself automatically sort of thinking, "Oh my goodness, what was my part in this? How did I contribute to this? What did I do wrong uh, to cause this?" Now, this is actually a very, very common symptom of growing up with a narcissistic parent. You see, the roots of this believing that I am to blame for every problem or every difficulty in a relationship comes from the fact that narcissistic parents always blame others for anything that goes wrong for them. And you can imagine, especially, this will be the case with those that are nearest to them in their inner circle, partners and children. So their nearest and dearest will always be the first that the narcissistic parent will hold accountable for the problems in their life. So they make it all your fault. I've had clients come to me, the most bizarre thing, saying like, they can remember growing up one incident or a few incidents where the narcissistic parent would say, you know, "Oh, for goodness sake, you've made me feel so ill. I'm going to have to lie down now because of you." Or, "Didn't you think first before you did this? Look how you've made me feel." So here we have, the narcissistic parent instilling in the child that they are the problem. They've done something to cause unhappiness in the parent or even physical illness in the parent. And it's so confusing for the child. And this is where we get sort of the beginnings of that concept of gaslighting. So when you're growing up, your parents are God in your life and you believe everything they tell you, especially things, that have a negative connotation in some ways, because it's when they tell you something negative that you get that sort of anxious feeling, "Oh my goodness, I need to correct this because I need to have my parent happy with me, or else my life is on the line here, my very existence." So it holds a very life and death sort of um, hold over us, whether we're making our parent happy or making them unhappy or ill. So what happens is when the parent starts blaming you for different things, say I don't know, the stove is burning and "Oh, if you had can't you just go out and play? Look, you've distracted me now from what I was doing." It's so confusing for the child. And the child then starts to question themselves. You start to question yourself and your behaviors and your thoughts and your natural way of being, even how you speak, the words you use, your feelings. And you start to question, maybe I don't know how to be normal. Even socially, you might find that you develop a bit of a low self-esteem in terms of how I'm acting, how normal people act, or do I need to keep a check on myself and try to copy them in order to be normal? You see, what is set up here is that the narcissistic parent actually is putting themselves onto a throne, and this throne is the throne of never being wrong or the one to blame for anything. There's no accountability, no self-reflection on this throne. And so this instills the belief in the child that the parent is perfect, and therefore I need to look to the parent to tell me how to become like them. And in the process of doing that, the child has to cut off from their own natural way of being. They have to cut off from their own feelings, their own thoughts. They can't trust any of those things, because if they just go with their natural inclination, it often results in being shamed, in being made to feel really guilty for the impact of doing that, and of not thinking first, and monitoring what you're doing. And in other words, it makes the child believe that there's something naturally wrong with them, that they need to always bear in mind that they don't naturally know how to be a human being. They need to learn it from their perfect parent. So how do we come out of all of this? Because this is huge manipulation. It's abusive. So what we do, and in the work I do with clients, is this is a major part. We start to bring the narcissistic parent off of the throne, and we start to put the blame back where the blame belongs. The accountability goes back to the parent, and the client, the adult child, begins to see that this was never anything to do with me. I'm not a problem. I'm not the cause of every issue in my relationships today. In fact, the clients begin to be able to speak up for themselves, and to call out the impact of others' behaviors on them. And there's a real sense of beginning to reclaim your own mojo. And especially when we work on the subconscious level, because you see these beliefs about being the problem, about being the cause, about being a burden, these are all taken in as a child on the subconscious level. And it becomes the identity. That's the identity takeover of the narcissist. So we need to debunk these on that subconscious level. And that's what I do in the work with clients. And we have to do that work, or else nothing changes. Else our relationships stay the same. In fact, we become more and more sort of caught in self-blame, being self-critical, and ultimately of breaking down, because that model is unsustainable. So if you would like to work with me, once again, I'll leave my Calendly link at the bottom. And this can be your way of taking accountability for your life, of taking responsibility, and turning the tables to put them rightly, of finding your dignity again, and putting accountability back where it belongs. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.